Hello and welcome back to Awakening to Your Story TV, the place to learn, get inspired, and be supported on the journey of life. I'm your host, author, emotional heart expert, and heart enthusiast, Alicia Hartzell. Now today's question benefits everyone because we've all been there. Dear Alicia, how do I have a safe, open conversation with someone who has drastically different views than me? Usually I end up walking away feeling unheard, annoyed, frustrated, angry, and I wonder why I even bothered. These are people who have been in my life for a really long time. I could cut and run, I guess, but cutting someone out of my life feels like a very drastic thing to do. I don't want to be that person. I just need help knowing how to do it more effectively. Can you help? Okay, you're not alone, and I want to commend you for showing up and interacting with the information rather than just reactively cutting and run, right? Showing up for the tough situations like this is how you learn more and how you do better and broaden your capacity to hold love and to be love at the table of humanity. Now, communication should be second nature to us, but sometimes it takes work. And I'm here to tell you that that is okay. Let's approach this in 3 phases. The first phase is understanding the past or current landscape of the conversations that you've had. The second phase is to set an intention for how it is you want to feel and how you hope the other person feels in future conversations. And then the third phase, change the landscape to hold the intention and create space for an outcome that you would like to see. Okay, so understanding the landscape. You know, I am a huge fan of looking through life through the lens of curiosity. So a great place to start is by thinking what it is you felt in those past conversations. What made it feel unsafe or bad or frustrating, right? From there, you can put language around what you have to make it feel safe or comfortable. When you think about what it is you wanted from the other person, did you want them to validate you or maybe see you or understand you? Think about if you were trying to change the other person's view or beliefs because you felt like you were right and they were wrong. Be honest with yourself. Just as a side note, going into a conversation with the wrong versus right or them versus us landscape is rarely going to create a safe or healthy place for communication. And in an emotionally charged conversation where someone is being attacked for their beliefs is not going to be a place where change is created anyway. How many times have you heard that you can't change people? There's a reason. You can't change people. You can only create change within yourself and your story. Now, that change that you make within can ripple out and create space for other people to change themselves too. So think about who you want to be. Do you want to change that angry, annoyed, and frustrated part of you when it comes to these kinds of conversations? Well, that's on you, not on the other person in the conversation. As you think about the landscape, you can start to see that there are probably unconscious intentions set in past conversations. Changing their mind, wanting your beliefs validated, or maybe even being heard. So what if that intention changed from changing their mind to maybe understanding where they're coming from? Remember, your views don't have to change, but with this kind of intention, you are gaining understanding and perspective. What if the intention shifted from wanting to be heard and validated to listening? You can stop looking for validation outside of yourself. You know your beliefs. This conversation isn't going to change that. But what if you really heard the other person? Think of the understanding that you might gain. Think about what you have learned from the past conversations, right? And what they pull and put into the language that carry over into that new landscape and new intention. Now, before you start the new conversation, I want you to double back around to the intention so that it's super fresh in your mind. If you feel yourself moving outside of that intention, be strong enough to pull yourself back on track. Holding the landscape of the new conversation with that new intention can be tricky at first because other people also have an unconscious or conscious intention too. They may be holding a space like the one that you had in your last conversation, right? But remember, you have the power to move from your intention, no matter what is happening on the other side of the conversation. That's right. Keep in mind, you are uniquely a culmination of all the experiences that you have had. And those experiences created the foundation for your beliefs and views. It's the same for the other person in the conversation too. Really see and appreciate that. Bringing gratitude into this experience can be a really good way to stay grounded and aligned in your intention. Remember, you can respect and appreciate the person and their place that they hold at the table of humanity without agreeing or respecting their views or their beliefs. If something starts to escalate on their side, you can engage your curiosity and your compassion rather than reacting to it. You can even say something like, "I am not fighting you, and I hear you." Then think about what must have happened to them in their lives so far, and what limiting beliefs have been handed down to them to believe the way that they do. Gratitude, compassion, understanding, and curiosity, they will help you hold your new landscape for the conversation. This kind of landscape makes it easy to have a safe conversation for both parties, right? It allows you to have a real place to understand and to grow. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy to hold that intention at first, especially if you're used to fighting. It's much easier to react, but reacting feels gross and feeds into those illusions of separation that you're trying to move away from. And it's definitely not who you want to be. So if you don't want to be the person that you've been in your past conversations, you have to build up your inner strength and do things differently. You being willing to show up and even try this kind of approach, it helps everyone at the table of humanity. That's right. This work ripples outward. Now, I wish you lots of love and lots of light as you show up for all of the relationships in your life, even those hard ones. And until next time, know that I am holding a place of love for you where your inner strength and compassion, well, they're undeniable. For more support, information, and inspiration, join me at awakeningtoyourstory.com.